Good evening, everyone. We'll start shortly. All right. So, good evening once again. Welcome all in the weekly webinar week ahead of the Religare Technicals. So, in this webinar, we talk about markets, how the market performed during the passing week. What are key sectors which performed well, underperformers, top five gainers, losers from the Nifty 50 basket. Uh, Followed by our view on key indices, both Nifty and the banking index, and some of these stocks which should be on your radar for the next week for both long and short side. And we finally end the session with a quick feedback poll. And after that, you can ask questions related to the webinar, anything which, any particular sector, market in general, in case if we wish to talk about, we are happy to answer those queries. So let's start with a disclaimer first that the information that we share during this webinar is not a trading or an investment recommendation. So before making any decision based on the information shared, please check with your financial advisor. All right, so third successive week of gains for both Nifty and Sensex. We made a new record high, ended nearly 1% kind of a gain for both Nifty and Sensex. So despite the consolidation or negativity that we are seeing in the global front, market performed well, and that is reflecting in the sectoral move also. So it was a good week for media counters, kind of a recovery, followed by a strong move from the metal, realty, banking, and financial services. FMCG ended almost on the flat note. Rest of the sectors, they were in green. So it was a kind of mixed, week in terms of benchmark, wherein though we have ended a percent kind of a gain, but the actual move was more on sectoral front and on the broader indices. Because mid cap index, made a new record high. Small cap also posted decent gains. So it was a week of outperformance on sectoral and broader front. Now coming to the top five gainers from the Nifty 50 basket, Divis Lab topped the list, followed by Shriram Finance, SDFC, NTPC, and Tata Steel. So among all these names, SDFC is one candidate that majority people were waiting for some action, and finally we are seeing that the stock has reclaimed its long-term averages also. So it's definitely a important and decisive move from the private banking majors that we saw last week, especially in the SDFC. On the profit-taking side, it was Hero MotoCorp, Cipla, Nestle, Bharti, Grasim. So a couple of names from the FMCG basket and rest from the across sectors is something that it was kind of like a normal breather or a profit-taking phase in rest of the names. Now, what we are anticipating in the coming week. So this is the daily graph of Nifty index. So if you remember that last week we talked about that 22,500, 550, the previous swing high, the record high zone, is something that markets may face resistance, and that is what we are seeing right now. Though we have made a new record high, 22,600 plus zone we have tested, but we couldn't sustain. Today it was a very muted session on Friday. So, it's a kind of like a breather or a time-wise correction that we are seeing. And why I'm saying this, because we closely watch the global market, especially the US market for clues. And US market after this strong up move is now witnessing, volatility correction. And, despite the negative global clues, if we are maintaining this positive tone, means we are ending flat to marginally positive, it's definitely a positive sign that markets may attempt further upward move toward this rising trend line, which comes around 22,800, 850 area. So 700 is going to be the immediate hurdle, and then 850 is something that we are eyeing as a next resistance in the coming week. But having said that, when the US markets are negative, the other global markets are also witnessing a bit of profit taking, like European markets and all. It's going to be difficult for our markets to, ignore all the global clues and inch further upward. So initially, we might continue to see sideways tone in the index, but until we break 22,200, one should continue with buy on dips approach. So this yellow line, the short-term average, is the crucial support to watch out for. Until we break this mark, this sideways tone is okay. Until unless we close around the day's low, means more than a percent kind of a cut is something that might derail the momentum. But as of now, indications are in the favor that we are inching towards 22,850 levels first. So accordingly, one should be aligning the trades also. But it's not that easy, considering that within the sector we are seeing mixed trend, and we'll elaborate on that during the Q&A also, because usually people have questions around particular sectors, rest of the sectors. So just to give you an example, that in the IT space, we saw that TCS did well among the IT majors. At the same time, Infosys or Wipro, they were inching lower at the same time. So this becomes difficult to trade. Similarly, HDFC Bank from the private banking space witnessed strong up move, but profit taking in excess in ICICI, that subsided that move. So when we see such kind of mixed trend intra-sector, stock selection becomes very critical. So though the tone is positive, focus should be more on if you are identifying or sitting with the right stock. That's going to be more critical. So buy on dips in the index is fine, but when it comes to stock, prefer which are trading largely in tandem with the index, means on positive day they are ending positive or they are outperforming the Nifty. Avoid underperformers in hopes that there could be a bit of a recovery. I hope my point is clear on that front. Next, move to banking. So banking is definitely an important factor which is helping the index to maintain around the record highs. And as you can see, that in banking, 3 days of consolidation followed by the last 2 days, we have seen decent uptick. So banking looks comparatively stronger. We have discussed about this earlier also in the previous webinars. Though these swings are sharp in banking, which is not usual, because when we see a trend, it's usually a decisive trend. But unlike this time around, we are seeing sharp retracements also. So as of now, we have crossed this trend line hurdle around 48,000 mark, and we are inching towards the record high. So banking looks comparatively better, but again, it is HDFC which has contributed maximum in the last 2 days, while others were witnessing mixed trend, especially Axis and ICICI, the top performing names. So here also one should be very specific when it comes to stock selections. A stock like HDFC, we have already seen strong move. Then we have some mid-cap banks, small-cap banks like CUB, Federal Bank, IDFC First Bank. So all these names, they are showing sign of recovery or strength. So Kotak, in the sense, they're still holding big stone. So despite the positivity that the index is inching towards the record high, we are still not seeing broader participation in banking also. So focus on stock selection in the banking space as well. 49,000, 49,800 is what we are eyeing in the banking index in the coming week. Downside 47,700 means the low of the last trading candle closer to that mark, and then 47,200, that is a 20 EMA, which should hold in case if there will be any profit taking in the coming. But as of now, the total is positive, so focus on strong ideas. Now let's talk about stocks, where we see strong traction, fresh breakouts, breakdown. The first that we have on the list is AB Capital from the financial services space. So AB Capital, a clear self-explanatory chart, a clear uptrend. Here we had consolidation also in the middle, followed by a breakout, then steady up move, again a consolidation similar to that frame, and now a decisive breakout with volumes. You can see that kind of volumes that we are seeing on the weekly charts. So this clearly shows that the consolidation that the stock was witnessing is over, and they might be a possibility that we might see some bit of a consolidation or correction time wise in the stock after the 17 to 18% kind of a move on the weekly basis. But since the consolidation has ended, we are eyeing much higher levels. So just to see that it could be in a range of 190 to 160 that we were trading in. So if we add 190, 30 points to that tally, so it comes to around 220, 225 zone in the coming future. So AB Capital is one name that should be on your radar for the long trades. Next, Chambal Fertilizer. The Chambal we have discussed in past webinars also when we were somewhere around here. But what happened is that the stock slipped, due to profit taking in the mid cap and small cap space. And after 2 days of indecisive move, it has recovered very strongly with volumes. So, when we have such kind of shakeouts, it gives us more confidence when they actually reclaim the previous swing highs. So it's a very strong and decisive candle, 11% kind of a gains, volume strong. So means weak hands, they have exited this counter in the last 3 weeks. And this recovery now indicates that we have more legs to the up move, especially in this stock. So this is one such stock that should be on your radar for the next week. And lastly on the list, Hind Copper from the metal space. So metal as a sector also did well. And broadly, I would say that this is one sector wherein we are seeing participation largely in sync. Means, mostly stocks are participating in the move within the metal space. So, starting from Tata Steel, SAIL, Vedanta, Hind Copper, Hind Zinc, National Ammonium. So it's a broader participation that we are seeing in the metal space. And Hind Copper, why? Because post this recovery, there was a marginal pause followed by a breakout. And again, there was a consolidation which has ended this week with strong volumes. So we expect this surge to continue in the Hind Copper in the coming week as well. So just to sum it up, both Nifty and banking index, the tone looks positive. There's no doubt about that. But sectors are showing mixed trend. So stock selection become important. So maintain buy on dips with focus on stock selection. Broader indices, mid cap, small cap, they are also doing well. But again, don't go overboard. Stick with the quality names, stocks which are rebounding in line with the index or witnessing higher volumes or outperforming the index within the mid cap and small cap space. avoid the laggards. Please don't average your losses, especially in the small cap space. So this is all from the presentation part. Now let's do a quick feedback poll. So please fill in your feedback and then you can start posting your question using that Q&A tab. So if you have any question related to the webinar, any particular sector, you can post your questions. Please quickly fill this feedback so that we can start with the Q&A. All right, so almost done. Okay, so let's start with Q&A now. Okay, so first question on the IT space. Are we seeing some respite in IT pack in coming week? So yes, we are seeing IT witnessing a bit of a recovery after this recent phase of correction. Uh, Apart from banking, I feel that IT is going to be the next critical sector in case if Nifty has to extend this prevailing momentum. So, but as you know, during the presentation, we've discussed about the mixed trend that TCS is inching higher while Infosys is going down. Stock selection become critical. So, stick with the names which are, you know, aligned with the index, which are performing in anticipation. If you think that TCS is also recovering, so eventually Infosys is going to also come up. It might be true, but the underperformance means if TCS inches higher, let's say by 2%, and Infosys gains 0.5%, it's not something that we are looking for. We are looking for something which is largely aligned with the performance of the index or it outperforms. So, top performing name is something that one should look at. Okay, next is a stock specific question. So we'll talk about this sector. Anyways, Mr. Bala, we have discussed about in detail. Metal as a pack, we feel it still has more legs on the upside, and that's why we have discussed about Hind Copper during the presentation also. So we feel that this momentum which we are seeing in the metal counters that might continue, and yes, there could be a bit of a pause or a consolidation, but the tone is likely to remain positive. So stick with the top performing names. That includes Tata Steel as well. Okay, so there's a question from Mr. Benjamin, and it's an important question that gold prices are steadily increasing for many days. How one can play this rise in gold, either by buying gold financing stock or jewelry stock, which is more profitable. So what I have observed is that the gold financing stock do well in such phases instead of jewelry counters. So when the gold is witnessing extraordinary move, you must have noticed that Muthoot, Manappuram, all these names they have recovered very strongly. So you can plan your trades accordingly. Okay. See, stock specific question is something that we recommend to avoid because for the larger audience, it's an individual thing. we try to capture more of like, something which can be useful for the larger audience. So if the time permits, maybe in the end we might answer a couple of questions for the stock specific queries also. But as of now, we'll take first the sector specific queries. Okay, next on the pharma space. So pharma is not basically giving any clear indication that how this sector is going to pan out in the coming future. But yes, like other sectors, we have a list of stocks which are doing well. Like Divis was among the top performer during the week in the pharma space. Then we have Dr. Reddy's, Granules, Sun Pharma, all these names they are holding strong. So again, instead of focusing on the entire sector, stock specific approach is something that one should continue with in pharma space as well. Okay, so see if you're associated with us, because I can't see your name. It says uh, anonymous attendee. So if you're associated with us, you can send an email to us on vcare@religare.com and the team would revert to your queries related to the long-term stocks and SIP counters. Okay, next we have Mr. Sameer on PSU banks. So yes, PSU banks are interesting, definitely. With strong recovery in some of these private banking names, Canara Bank, PNB. Yeah, these are the two names which I see. Bank of India also, wherein they have reclaimed their previous swing highs. It's a consolidation range break also. So selectively, yes, these are some of the names which one can look at, in the coming week. Okay, so Mr. Jeti, as I requested earlier, so if you're associated with us, you can send an email. Otherwise, the team would guide you the right process, also that how to get associated and all. Okay, right. So stock specific, stock specific. Okay, so again a query on stock specific, but I'll answer in a manner which has the larger audience about auto counters. So auto counters, they are outperforming. There is no doubt about that. Mostly counters are outperforming. So be it Bajaj Auto, Maruti, they are still holding around the record highs with marginal retracement in between. Eicher, TVS, Tata Motors, and now Escorts and M&M, they are also witnessing catch up move every now and then. So we feel that within this space, Escorts and Eicher, uh, they have potential to do well, in the near future. The rest of the counter, they are anyways doing well, but for fresh traction, the possibility of outperformance in Eicher and Escorts is high. Okay. Any question related to any particular sector? Okay, so we'll take a couple of queries on stock specific. First, that we have on Bata India. So I understand that, and in fact, there is a reason that why we are picking this stock, because uh, it was among the steady performer earlier, and now it's been struggling for last several months, and there's still no sign of recovery in Bata. So I feel that you know in a market like this where markets are trading at the record highs, quoting around 52-week low, and there's a possibility what charts are indicating that it might inch further lower uh, if it fails to hold this 1340, 1320 area. So this should be your ultimate stop. If you have any position and if you're planning any trade, please avoid. Okay. Okay, so how to select good stocks which can perform good in the coming. So there are multiple ways, Mr. Varun, that one is, if you are using charts, if you are using derivative data. Uh, so in past, we did certain webinars. So you can go on our social channel, Religare Broking on YouTube and the other, social platform like Insta and uh, Twitter. So you'll find certain links which will help you to start your journey. So we've talked about moving averages in past, risk management. So these are some of these interesting videos that can help you to select or identify good stocks. You know Okay, next query is from Mr. Firoj on midcap. So midcap, as I've shared during the presentation, that the index had made a new record high, but we are not seeing a similar kind of traction across the board. So in line with benchmark, the broader indices are also witnessing selective participation. So one should not get carried away with a new high in the midcap. Stick with the top performers wherein we are seeing volume also. So it's not only the price. Basically, at times we see the price witnesses a bit of a rebound, but there was hardly any volumes. So both should come together, and then only one should look at, companies which are healthy, financially. In that space, only one should venture. And since the volatility is still high within the broader indices, means mid cap and small cap, means 5-8% kind of a move is not a big deal. So if you are okay with such kind of volatile swings, then only you should venture. Otherwise, for a time being, you should stick with the index majors. Mr. Bala, we have already discussed about some of these stocks during the presentations. I hope it helps you to identify the right set of stocks, targets, stop losses that you have to identify on own, because it's not a trading recommendation. It's just the information that we have shared. Based on your risk appetite, you can you know initiate the position. All right. Next on defense sectors, uh, suppliers. So suppliers to the defense sectors is not going to help because mostly are not listed names. If you talk about the small suppliers and those, the prominent names, we all know the prominent names like uh, BEL, BHEL, BDL, HAL. All these are the prominent name, Hemant. So suppliers, obviously, I need to dig further and uh, you know it may be there on BSC, but on NSC, I doubt that. Yeah, Apollo, Astra Micro. These are some of the names which one can look at. Okay, so more of stock specific queries. So please excuse, and in case if you are associated with us, you can send the email to vcare@religare.com and we'll definitely answer those queries, or you can redirect your queries through your branches or business partners also. Then only we'll be able to answer the stock specific queries. So yeah, with this, thank you everyone for participating. And next week, same time, same place, we'll connect again. Till then, take care. Thank you.